Suburban Sentinel here with a quick policy video. All of us in the gun community are angry and frustrated about the pending gun control legislation and the anti-gun rhetoric coming from the mass media. I also know that we are not going to just stand by and let this happen. The question is, what exactly should we do? Lobby Congress, sue, peaceful non-compliance, leave the country. The list goes on and on. Not only is it a tough question, there's a lot on the line. Whatever we do or fail to do today might have far-reaching consequences for future generations in America. So this is not something to be taken lightly. Ever since I can remember, one of my heroes has been Benjamin Franklin, one of the smartest and wisest men to ever walk the face of God's green earth, and a giant among many great men of the 18th century. When faced with a difficult problem, I often ponder how Mr. Franklin would handle the situation. As a founding father of this nation, his wisdom and insight would be especially pertinent to the matters before us. Fortunately, Mr. Franklin was a prolific writer and speaker. So by way of reviewing some of his writings and somehow trying to channel the wisdom of Benjamin Franklin, I will take my best guess at what advice he might have for us today. First, let's summarize what's been happening in the United States. Over the last several months, there have been several mass shootings. These mass shootings have caused hysteria about guns and gun owners. This hysteria has been largely fueled by the mass media, which has been calling for strict gun regulations. There are now bills pending before the Congress to strictly control firearms. The President and Vice President are threatening executive orders on gun control. However, as of right now, January 13th, 2013, at approximately 12:50 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, there has been no legislative or regulatory action taken. Second issue is, what have the members of the gun community at large been doing? A large number of us have been contacting our representatives in Congress as individuals. The groups that represent gun owners, such as the National Rifle Association and the Gun Owners of America, have been lobbying behind the scenes. And a few of us have been ranting in the mass media about gun control and a potential violent reaction thereto. So the million-dollar question right now is, where do we go from here? Prior to the American Revolutionary War, Benjamin Franklin was lamenting the growing tensions between Britain and the colonies. Mr. Franklin most famously stated, quote, "Passion governs, and she never governs wisely," unquote. Mr. Franklin was a deliberate and thoughtful man who clung to his ideals, but who would not act in haste. He also famously stated, quote, "If passion drives you, let reason hold the reins," unquote. Speaking of the first Congress's work adopting the Bill of Rights, which of course includes the Second Amendment, Franklin noted that they had achieved agreement, quote, "with a greater degree of temper, prudence, and unanimity that could well have been expected, and our future prospects seem very favorable," unquote. If he were alive today, I believe Mr. Franklin would admonish us to use the democratic republic we have been given. Though our system of government is imperfect and at times highly dysfunctional, We should give the machinery of government every chance to operate in the manner in which it was intended. Remember, we still have options. We can continue to petition our representatives to block harmful legislation, and failing that, we still have both individual and collective remedies available in courts of law. We are all passionate about freedom and individual responsibility. But let's remember, as of this moment, nothing has happened. All of this talk about rebellion and armed conflict is illogical and counterproductive. The media is portraying those of us in the gun community as violent, dangerous reactionaries. When people such as Alex Jones and James Yeager go into the national spotlight spouting off about inevitable violence, that reinforces the negative perception and hurts our cause tremendously. So let's refrain from speaking and acting in haste with malice towards our countrymen. Certainly, I'm not saying that we should stand idly by while our constitutional rights are trampled upon, and I don't believe Benjamin Franklin would say that either. Mr. Franklin was a peace-loving man, but of course he refused to bow down to dictators. So in conclusion, let's use the system that our founding fathers sacrificed so much to bequeath us. Thanks for watching. This is the Suburban Sentinel. God bless America.